Now, today's class is to talk about how we think when we're declarer. Card reading in a sense. So, when the lead is made and after dummy goes down, what should we be thinking about as declarer?
Where are winners?
Okay, our winners. Okay, anything else?
Losers.
Losers.
Losers, yeah.
Which hand you need to be in.
Okay, yeah. What else?
Creating
Where we might get extra winners.
Where you might, that's all very good, yeah. So what we're all talking about there is how we think about the plan of the hand, but we must go through a process, and that's what I'm going to talk to you today. Every time you're a declarer, I want you to try to follow this process to some degree. And if you follow this process, it means you'll pick up the clues that are available. Okay, so stop and think at trick 1. How many times have you played at trick 1 and gone wrong automatically because you've won in the wrong hand? Yeah, there's an example that somebody said, isn't it? Analyze the opening lead. I guarantee you we're not doing enough work on thinking about the suit and the card that people have led. There has to be implications to what they've led and what they haven't led. Analyze the opening lead. Okay, and we're going to talk about this as we move on. Count your winners. We said that, didn't we? Count your losers. We said that. And review the auction. We didn't say that, did we?
No.
Now, this is before you play at trick 1. You analyze the opening lead. You count your winners, your losers. You review the auction, and then and only then do you start thinking about how you play the hand. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So points 1, 3, and 4 speak for themselves. It is important to plan the overall play of a hand at trick 1 so as not to do something early that you might regret later. Count your winners and losers so you realize your goals. Analyze the opening lead. Against a suit contract, a player who fails to lead a suit that has been bid and supported by their side, more often than not, has the unsupported ace of that suit. Because what are you not supposed to lead away from against a suit contract? You're not supposed to lead away from an ace. Okay, so if they don't lead the suit, well, they probably have the ace, don't they?
Yeah.
And if they had the ace and the king, what would they lead?
The ace.
The ace, okay, now we're getting the idea. A player who leads a small card will not have the ace in that suit, because against a suit contract, it's not allowed to, you shouldn't lead small away from the ace. Okay. A player who leads a small card will not have an honor sequence in the suit led. If a person on lead has the ace king or king queen or queen jack 10 or jack 10, what will they lead?
Top of the sequence.
So if they don't lead it, they don't
Have it.
Okay, so this is what I'm saying to you. You have to think about what you have and what you're missing and what the opponents could have and why did they lead this suit opposite another suit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So imagine you're in 2 spades and you've got 3 little diamonds opposite 3 little diamonds and they don't lead that suit. That's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, if the person on lead had the ace, king, queen of diamonds, or the king, queen, jack of diamonds, or the queen, jack, 10 of diamonds, they'd lead the suit, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
So why didn't they lead the suit? Because they don't have those combinations. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Against a no trump contract, a player usually leads from their longest suit. Isn't that correct?
Yeah.
Normally, what do we lead against no trump if we don't have an honor sequence? What do we normally lead?
4th highest.
Of our longest and
Strongest.
so that you need to remember that's what they lead against. Does that make sense? If they clearly have not led their longest suit, it usually means the opponents have bid their suit. Doesn't that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't they lead their long suit? What's the only reason they wouldn't lead their long suit?
Because the opposition has it.
have bid it. So if they don't lead their long suit, the person who hasn't led their long suit must have your long suit. Does that make sense? Or dummy's long suit, because that's the only reason they wouldn't lead it. Or their hand is weak in terms of high card points and they're trying to find their partner's suit. So as declarer, you need to analyze. Could everybody mute themselves for a second, please? So as declarer, you need to analyze the opening lead and what they've led and what they haven't led to make sure that you can think about all the combinations of the suits. Okay. A player who does not lead a suit that their partner has bid will have a very good reason. I mean, what do I normally say are the only reasons you don't lead your partner's suit?
You don't have a car.
Yeah, you've none or you're dead. Isn't that right? Yeah, you've none or you're dead. Honor holdings. It is always a good idea to try and work out the exact honor holding in a suit led by the opponents, as sometimes it can shed a lot of light on the position of other relevant high cards. An example, the person is on lead against a suit contract and they lead the ace followed by the queen. Well, you know they've got ace, king, queen, don't you? Because the ace promises the
king.
And then they played the
Queen.
So they must have everything in between. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's 9 points, isn't it? Isn't that 9 high card points?
Yes.
Well, imagine they passed. They can't have 12 points, can they?
No.
So all the other relevant high cards must be in the
Other hand.
Exactly. Working out what the opponents have can tell you where the other cards are. Okay. So here we go. Have a look at this. Tell me what the left-hand opponent has in the dummy suit. How many does the left hand have? What did they lead?
3.
The 3. So they have. Well, if they lead a small card, how many have they got?
2.
Queen.
No,
3 which is 4.
they're 4th best, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they can't have a 5-card suit, can they?
No, because the 2 is in dummy.
The 2 is in dummy. It's there in dummy, and I've played it, haven't I? And the right-hand opponent has played the king. So who has the queen and jack of hearts?
The left hand.
Yeah.
Opponent.
We now know that the number of cards our left-hand opponent has, and we know that the left-hand opponent has definitely got the queen of hearts. We know they've got queen to 4 hearts. They might have the jack of hearts. They might have the 9 of hearts. But we know our right-hand opponent doesn't have the queen of hearts, because if they've the queen of hearts, what should they play at trick 1?
The queen.
The lower of touching cards when you're a defender. So there's an example where after the lead of the suit, declarer should know practically the way the suit is divided, 4 on your left, 3 on your right, and that the king is on your left and the queen is on your right. That's a lot of information, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if there's any more examples. Assuming that this is a suit contract, it can be now inferred that the opening leader has led from a 4-card suit headed by the queen, either the queen 9-8-3 or the queen 9-7-3 or the queen 8-7-3. Because if it's a suit contract and they have the queen and jack, what would they have led?
Queen.
But if it's no trump, they're not allowed to lead the queen from the queen and the jack. They have to either have the queen jack 10 or queen jack 9. So that's why it depends on whether the contract is a suit contract or no trump. You can work out more effectively in no trump. The reason for this...
Thomas, would you just clarify that for a second? So in a no trump, you lead the highest of 3 touching honors.
3 touching honors, yes.
But in
a suit contract, if we look at the reason for this analysis, is that with touching honors, left-hand opponent would lead 1.
Yeah.
So if left-hand opponent had queen jack, they're allowed to lead the queen. If right-hand opponent held the king queen, they should play the queen of the suit, the lower of touching cards when you're following suit. Review the auction. How many times before we play a card from dummy do we actually go back and think about the auction again? We're too busy panicking, aren't we? Oh, Jesus, I better play a card from dummy or they're looking at me strangely. You're supposed to do all of these things. Analyze the opening lead. Count your winners and losers. Review the auction before you play a card from dummy. Let me be absolutely crystal clear. A player who has failed to open the bidding generally will not have 12 or more points. The amount of times I've seen people not work out where the missing card was when somebody has passed and then they've shown an awful lot of points. It's amazing. A player who has passed an opening bid by their partner generally doesn't have 6 points, because what should you bid if you've 6 points and your partner opens the bidding with one of a suit? You should bid, shouldn't you?
Yeah.
A player who has made an overcall will usually have 5 or more good cards in the suit bid. We need to remember this information, yeah? A player who has made a preempt will usually have less than
10.
10 points. A player who has made, can we mute ourselves again? A player who has made a takeout double is likely to have a shortage in the suit that they have doubled. We'll talk about that when we talk about doubles. A player who has bid no trump usually will have a specific point range and more often than not should have a balanced hand. If they open one no trump, how many points does it promise?
12 to 14.
10.
12 to 14.
12
If they
to
open
14.
2 no trump, how many points does it promise?
16 to 18.
2 no trump. It does not promise 16 to 18.
Right.
It promises 20 to
20 to
22.
22.
20 to 22.
But every time somebody opens or bids no trump, they've limited the number of points that they have. And every time they put down a good card, you should subtract that from what they've told you they have. Yeah? How many times do we do that? Not very often, do we?
Might have to up the time on the tournaments for that.
No, you have to train yourself to think within the time. You get more time than anybody else. When I play bridge, I get 6 minutes aboard. Generally, when the opponents have bid, it makes card reading a lot easier. But sometimes an opponent's failure to bid can also pass a lot of information. Example, if an opponent turns up in the play with the 5-card suit headed by the ace king and has failed to make a 1-level overcall, well, they're highly unlikely to have any other high cards, because if they 10 points and a good 5-card suit, what could they have done?
Overcalled.
If they don't overcall, they don't have it. That's the point. Okay, now just for the moment, we're just going to stop there for 1 second. Now we're going to put the analysis of what we've just tried to put it into practice. So our partner is going to open the bidding with 2 no trump, 20 to 22 and a balanced hand. Pass from the east. And it's our bid. Now, what do you think you're going to bid?
Three hearts.
Okay. Problem with 3 hearts is it doesn't show the value of the hand.
4 hearts.
3 no trump.
3 no trump is incorrect because we're unbalanced and we have a singleton. Okay. And we have a 6-card major, which means we have a fit, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to bid the value of the hand. So what is the value of the south hand? How many points is the south hand worth?
3.
5.
More than
high card.
More than
8.
2 for length.
2 for length, and you can also give 2 for a single hand.
Singleton.
So 4
So it's a
hearts.
little bit better, isn't it, than we think the 3 high card points that we can see. So it's worth bidding 4 hearts, isn't it? But the problem with bidding 4 hearts is we get to play it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we will be speaking about transfers in due course, but for the moment, we're going to have to jump to 4 hearts because we've no other way to do what we want to do. So we jump the game and the bidding goes pass, pass, pass. And we wait for the lead to be made. So the lead is the ace of clubs. Now, the first thing we have to do is we have to do everything that I've asked you to do. So count the points that are in dummy. How many are there?
3.
No, points in dummy are 3 points. In dummy are 3 points. The dummy is the
20.
north hand.
Oh, sorry.
There's
21.
21 as far as I can see.
21. 11, 12.
Yeah.
21, yeah.
And we've 3
Yeah.
points in our own hand, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
So that means we've 24 points between us. So how many have the opponents?
16.
16, don't they? Okay, now, what did the person on our left lead?
Ace of clubs.
So what does that mean they have?
King.
The king. Is that good or bad for us, do you think?
That's
Bad.
It's good
Well,
to
if
know
they
where
play
it
the
is.
ace, well, if they play the ace and the king, what's likely to happen to the queen?
it's a winner.
Comes a winner.
Okay, so it's not necessarily bad. Now, is there anything bad that could happen to us? When will the queen not become a winner?
If the king was in the east.
No.
If East roughs,
If east roughs, very good. Very good, excellently analysed. So let's have a look. Now, the first thing we do is we've analysed the lead. We know the person on our left has the ace, king of clubs. The next thing we need to do is we count our winners. How many winners can you see you've got?
okay, so 8,
4.
Eight is guaranteed, and you might have a 9th in clubs depending on whether the queen of clubs becomes a winner or not. Does that make sense? But you've 8 guaranteed winners, haven't you? You've 6 heart winners, and you have the ace of diamonds is 7, and you have the ace of spades is 8. Okay, and we have, what losers do we have? How many club losers do we have?
2.
Or 3. Remember, we don't know what's going to happen in the club suit, do we?
No.
So we've 2 or 3 club losers. And what other loser might we have?
Spades.
So
Spades.
a lot depends on what happens in clubs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But we're going to have to generate an extra winner in spades, aren't we?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because we've only not, even if we get the queen of clubs, we've only 9 winners, don't we? Okay, so we play the 9 of clubs and we see what happens. And East plays the 10. Andrea, are you there? And that worries me, because what should East play if they have a doubleton? High followed by
Low.
low. And if they play high, low, off, and they wake up and they know what they're doing, that when the 3rd round comes, it's going to be a disaster, isn't it?
Yeah.
So go ahead. They're awake.
Yeah.
Well, now suddenly we can't afford to lose any more tricks, can we?
No.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what have they, and now again, we analyze the lead. What did they play?
King of
So
diamonds.
what do we know they have in diamonds?
The queen and the jack.
Queen.
And we don't know about the jack, but we know they're the king and the queen because it's a suit contract. Doesn't bother us, does it?
No.
No.
So we win.
And we'll rough them after that.
Well, we won't rough them yet, will we?
Not yet, no.
What are we going to do first?
Draw.
Trump.
We absolutely are. We're going to play the ace of hearts followed by that. 5 hearts are gone, and we're going to play the king of hearts. Oh, they showed out. Well, how many hearts did he start off with?
4.
4.
4, and they've roughed 1, haven't they?
Yeah. So
And
they've
they
won that.
followed, they've 1 left. Well done. Okay, so we play a diamond. And we rough. Well, now we know they must have king, queen, jack of diamonds, don't we? Because if
Yes.
they hadn't got the king, queen, jack, wouldn't he have flown in the queen? He didn't know I had a singleton, did he?
No.
So what do I play now?
The 2 Choose
No, we what should we do? It's getting close to Halloween. Take the kids off the
the
Draw the
straight.
last, draw the last.
draw the
trump.
last trump. Very good. Throw a diamond. Okay. Now we have to decide what to do. So what do we do?
Finesse.
Why?
Because you don't know where the king of spades is.
But if the king is in the east hand, I'm going to lose it, haven't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to lose it, yeah?
Yeah.
So sometimes you just have to hope, don't you? You have to pray the card is in the right side. And it's a 50-50, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's 50-50, so we finesse. That's what I mean by thinking about how you play. At this point in the play, or earlier in the play, you should have said, I'm going to have to finesse in spades. I'm going to have to do it. And if the finesse loses, well, I'm going to lose. There's nothing I can do, is there? So they play small. Andrea, are you there? And now, what do I do?
Do it again.
Ace.
But I can't do it again because where am I?
You're in dummy.
North.
And
So I
rough your
couldn't-
diamond.
Ah,
Yeah,
very
diamond.
good, very
Yeah.
good. I rough my diamond. And then I repeat what was successful. Because if it worked the first time, it should work the
Mhm.
second time. Now, what were the odds of that contract being successful? 50-50, wasn't it? 50-50. If the East had the king of spades, I couldn't make the contract. The final hand of tonight is a very interesting hand from the play of the lesson. And we'll add it to the video because it's worthwhile and that nobody so far has ever made this contract. And it's one of those hands where it's a trick reduction. How many winners do we have in spades in front of us likely if they suit breaks? 7.
7.
And we've 2 winners in hearts is,
9,
and we've the ace of diamonds is.
10.
10.
Now what losers do we have?
2 clubs.
And 1 in,
Diamonds.
Diamonds.
and what else do we have?
Clubs.
No, 2 clubs we said.
Oh, sorry.
So we've 2 clubs and a diamond to lose. So what
You
happens
could
on
lose a
the,
spade.
well, you should, you do. That's why you all went down, by the
Yeah.
way. So let's show you what happens, how everybody universally misplays it. So for this point, could everybody mute themselves, please? Okay, so this is universal, what everybody goes wrong on this board. They play small. High, low.
Aye. To show you the
Doubleton. And they play another one. And then they lead a third one. And they rough. And of course, we all think that's over rough, don't we? Let's rush in there and win that trick. But as soon as you over rough with the queen, what did it promote in the south hand? It promoted the jack, didn't it,
The
everybody?
jack as a winner.
Yeah.
Okay, so why did you over rough? You didn't need to over rough, did you?
Get rid of a
Because-
loser.
Well, what loser did we just say we had?
Diamond.
So we throw the diamond.
Yeah.
Now what do they play? Makes no difference, does it?
No.
Go on, play whatever you want, please. Can you lead a card down? Thank you. And now we can draw trumps. We don't lose a trump trick, do we? And if you can show all 52 cards, please, Andrea. By over ruffing with the queen, you made their jack more valuable while you still had a loser. Can you mute yourselves, please? While you still had a loser in diamonds. If you discard the diamond, you don't promote their jack, and you end up only losing the 3 tricks with which you should have lost. Now, I have several times when I've spoken about losers told you, if you have to lose a trick, please lose the trick quick. So not over ruffing protects your trump position. You all created an extra winner for the defenders by over ruffing rather than throwing away the loser you were always going to lose. Losing early to win late. Key part of bridge.